What is going on, you guys? It's Motoziety, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the brand new Cfmoto 675 SS. So recently on my channel you guys have heard me talk about Cfmoto a lot, and there's a reason for that. They're a new company doing new things and putting out new and exciting bikes. I've gotten the chance to ride two of their bikes now, the CLX 700, which is next to me right now, and their 300 SS. Now, the CLX 700 I loved. I was really impressed by that bike. It had a lot of great features, and I love riding it whenever I get the chance to. The 300 SS, however, I was not so impressed by, and it left a lot to be desired. So I'm super excited to talk today about the 675 SS. I'm excited for that bike to come out. I'm excited to get to see it in person, hopefully. And I figured it was appropriate that I be on the Triumph 765 for this video, because it will be a competitor to the inline 3-cylinder market. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is bring you guys over to the Cfmoto USA website and show you the first page that they show for the 2025 675 SS, which shows a couple of things. It shows the bike off, which, wow, it looks absolutely amazing. It has some really cool styling points. The colorways are amazing. It comes in both a black and gray style and a gray and blue style, which is pretty typical for Cfmoto to have two colorways, and the gray and blue are kind of their signature color. But there's something else staring me in the face, and that's that MSRP price, $7,999 for this bike. $7,999 for this bike, MSRP. That's crazy. That is insanely cheap for a bike of this caliber, you guys. And we're gonna scroll down through their website and look at some more features of this bike. But right off the bat, that's something that's jumping out to me as either a really good thing or possibly a really bad thing. Let's go ahead and jump a little bit farther down the website here, where Cfmoto is talking about the design and style of this bike, which is again something that I think Cfmoto hit the nail on the head with. A lot of their bikes have solid styling. Their colorways are great. I think they do a really good job of styling these bikes and making them look like super aggressive bikes that people will want to buy. This bike is no exception to that. You know, this bike looks absolutely amazing, and I think that you guys should absolutely go over to their website and check out these pictures for yourself, because this thing looks incredible. Now on to what I think is the most interesting thing about this bike, which is the motor. So just like the Street Triple 765 and its predecessor, the Daytona 675, the Cfmoto 675 SS is going to have an inline 3-cylinder motor. Now, when I take a look at Cfmoto's website, Cfmoto mentions something interesting. They say that their motor is going to be a die-cast aluminum crafted engine that offers lightweight and enhances the bike's agility and response. Now, the die-cast aluminum thing for me threw up a couple of red flags. You know, die-cast aluminum has definitely its benefits, like being able to be lightweight. It's higher to corrosion resistance, and it has some pretty good thermal conductivity when it comes to efficient heat transfer, but could be prone to some serious casting defects, as well as the overall strength of the motor not being as good. So I'm going to go ahead and jump down on their website now and take a look at the TFT display, which I think is another solid selling point for this bike. Just having my own hands-on experience now with two of the Cfmoto bikes and their TFT displays, I can honestly say they have some of the best features and functionality that I've seen in the motorcycling world so far. They're not perfect, but they have some really great options, and they give you some super cool screens and some different stuff you can do with them. Just reading over this, it says that it's going to have over-the-air functionality, meaning that you can update your TFT display software wirelessly, and that they're also going to include a Type-C USB port to charge your devices. So you can charge your phone while you have it, clipped up to your quad lock or whatever you have your phone connected to. You can, while you're riding, you can charge your phone, which I think is a great feature to include, because a lot of bike manufacturers may include the little plug-in socket for the charging devices, but you need to have it installed at a dealer for an extra fee when you buy your bike, and it's usually upwards from like $200 to $500, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. So Cfmoto offering this from the factory at the MSRP that they're offering it from is absolutely solid. It also looks like, from just taking a look at their TFT display picture that they're showing here, they're going to have some kind of tire pressure monitoring system. So when your tires are low, it looks like this might alert you, or at least let you know what your front and rear tire are at, which solid. You really only see stuff like that on higher end bikes, or that sort of thing. And it also looks like it is going to have a tire heat monitor as well, which that is awesome. Now, with all this technology, obviously there comes the possibility that you're going to run into issues, something could break, stuff like that, but I think having the option is important. So being able to monitor your tire pressure and your tire heat, you want to make sure your tires are warmed up before you go for rides and stuff like that, solid. I think that is absolutely awesome, and I think that's going to be another great selling point for this bike. Let's talk about the brakes on this bike now. Obviously, they are super important. You need to be able to stop your motorcycle, especially if you're going super fast. I was a little bit disappointed to see that the Brembo brakes that are found on most of the Cfmoto bikes would not be making a return for this bike. Instead, they opt for J1 brakes, which I don't really know much about, but apparently they're pretty close to KTM's standard brakes. Now, I wasn't too thrilled with the brakes on the Cfmoto 300 SS. This is not the same caliper, this is not the same setup, so hopefully these brakes will be a little bit better than that one. But obviously we all know Brembo brakes, and we know that they're great, so to not see those Brembos make a return on this bike, I think is a missed selling point for Cfmoto. But it does look like they're going to have a pretty cool setup on these brakes with a little brake duct, little caliper duct thing to help with some of the heating. These little brake cals will enhance the airflow, and it'll improve the cooling of the brakes and everything like that, which I think is pretty cool. Alright guys, so we have one last thing to cover on this bike, and I'd argue it's the most important thing to you guys, and that's the horsepower and torque of this motorcycle. Now, it's not going to be a super fast, super sport street killer. This bike's set to make 95 horsepower, which is along the lines of the CBR 650, so it's probably going to sit somewhere in the intermediate class. This bike makes less horsepower than my street triple, and it's going to make 51 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty standard among the intermediate class of motorcycles. This bike has the advantage of being an inline 3-cylinder bike, so you should be able to have power all throughout the rev range. That's one of the things that I love about my street triple, is that I have power, high up in the RPMs, and I have power low down in the RPMs, but I don't have, one specific spot where there's just crazy amounts of power. This bike definitely does make some solid power, but if you were looking to buy this bike as a replacement for your standard 600, or even to keep up with your buddies on a 600, this probably isn't the bike for you. This is really meant more as a solid step up from something like a 300cc to 4 or even 450cc bike. This is a solid intermediate bike, and I think it's going to do a great job at that. I've really loved all of the bikes that Cfmoto has put out so far. I've loved reviewing them for you guys, and I can't wait to see what this bike is actually like in person. I hope I get the chance to see it, I hope I get the chance to ride it, and I hope I get the chance to review it for you guys. I hope all of you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.